No.
Are we talking like a blocky pistol or like a revolver or something?
Gables just walks away. Why? Why did you turn off your damn camera?
No, Jables, come back!
Welcome to Lesser Saints of Discord. Jables decided this was a fucking...
Hey, everybody, welcome to Lesser Saints of Discord. I'm Jables. Joined with me as always, Rimshi and Sir is watching. Introduce yourselves, buddies.
Asshole. Come back and try and blow my eardrums out, fucker.
Sorry. I was watching Conan interviews all day today. I got super inspired. So, do a good show.
Jables can't sit down because he spent too much time at bars
I
this
told you
weekend,
that in
if you know what I'm
confidence. Shut
saying.
up. Shut up. Blah, 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 blah. Rabble, rabble.
Move your fucking chair.
What?
Move your fucking chair.
Oh, that one? No. That needs to be there for like something to lean on every once in a while. Or if I feel like I can sit, I'm gonna pull it over. Unless you want me to stand all the way over here. You want me to stand closer to you? Is that what you want?
Wait, this way.
Is that what you want, baby doll?
Can't touch. The barriers of the internet won't let us.
I know. This makes me so sad.
So far away.
Yeah, it's my service chair, Rimshi.
We don't accept service chairs here. If you don't got paperwork, go fuck yourself.
I got paperwork. I stole this from a bar fair and square. It's Wait, that means I wouldn't have paperwork. I fucked up. My bad.
The paperwork is the arrest warrant.
Yeah. They'll never catch me, those fucking coppers. Oh. My hair's looking good today. I like it.
I don't know about you guys, but I got a bunch of rain.
It's boiling over here.
It's weather can't make its mind up here.
Yeah.
It'll be like 53 degrees with like a light sprinkle, and then an hour later it'll be 87.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We got some of the remnants of Hurricane Helene, which I guess caused serious fucking issues in the Carolinas and Tennessee.
Yeah, well, it was like a Cat 5, right?
Category 4 at landfall.
That could be worse.
But yeah, I guess eastern Tennessee especially, there was a bunch of landslides and shit. They're having to airdrop supplies to people that they can't get to because roads have been destroyed.
Well, I hope they don't do Palestinian airdrops.
Oh.
Or North Korean airdrops.
Oh, have you heard about the airdrops that ended up crushing people? Airdropping food in that crushed people?
No, but that makes sense.
I mean,
you guys have heard about like South Korea?
Yeah.
They use balloons to send
the North Korean poop brigade.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them started a massive fire for some reason.
Hot shit.
I didn't read into it. I just saw the headline. I was like, ah. Shitty fire.
Yeah.
And then just
that fire was hot shit. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Oh. Anywho,
Yes, what shall we take care of first? Are we just gonna bitch about things, or... Yes, I know we're live. Twitch.
we
I
can bitch
started
about
that.
things.
I think I would like to start off the proceedings by
Yeah.
extending my condolences to the family and the Harry Potter community.
Oh yeah, Maggie Smith. Rest in peace.
Dame Maggie Smith. I hear crying from the other room all of a sudden.
She's in a lot more than just Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's a very well-esteemed actress. She's a damn good one.
High
Providing
caliber.
entertainment
I
for
mean, when
women.
she was filming Harry Potter, she was dealing with, I think, cancer or something.
Yeah, at one point.
Yeah, and she just fucking powered through it like a boss.
Yeah.
To be fair, like, I don't. Obviously, like, we'll wait and see with what happens with this show, but I think you couldn't really have asked for a better casting choice for McGonagall.
Yeah. No, she's my McGonagall for sure.
Just like, I don't envy anybody that has to, follow up a certain other performance.
Which one? Harry Potter himself?
No, Alan Rickman.
Oh. I think that can be done.
I think he's a little young for it still, but if he grew a little facial hair like the book, Adam Driver wouldn't be a bad choice.
Adam Driver's... Alan Rickman was actually too old for that part because Snape is the same age as Harry's parent. And they had Harry when they were like in their early 20s. Snape was supposed to be like in his early to mid 30s.
Yeah, but just look-wise, I think Adam Driver would be like my casting choice.
Adam Driver would be a good one.
He has the acting chops for it too. A lot of people don't realize it because most people know him for Star Wars, which
Yeah, no, he's in
wasted
other
him.
stuff, and he's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he's
Actually-
too well known. There's an actor, I don't know his name. He was in the first Kingsman movie. He was the first Lancelot, the one that got cut in half.
Oh.
I think he would make a really good Snape. He has like the right voice and everything for it.
Yeah, that would be a good choice too.
Yeah, and like I feel bad for anybody that goes for Hagrid because Robbie Coltrane was fucking perfect fit.
That's the thing. It's just like there's so many ones where it's like these are hard acts to follow.
Yeah. For Dumbledore, you can there's a lot of choices you can make. I'm not committed to any of the Dumbledores that were in the movies.
If you want to see, back to Adam Driver real quick, if you want to see him doing something other than Kylo Ren, check out What If. It's also got Daniel Radcliffe in it, and it's a decent movie.
Yeah. Adam Driver has the right look, but the guy that I was talking about that's in the Kingsman, I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look it up right now, but like
No, that's my job.
can have the right look and he has the right voice.
I personally think that Richard Harris was perfect casting for Dumbledore. It's just that it happened way too late in his life.
Yeah, I think Richard Harris had potential. I think they didn't use him properly. They didn't get to embellish in his whimsy enough. Which would have happened in later movies, obviously. But like,
Yeah. But it came way too late in his life.
Richard Harris's son is also an actor. They've been looking at him play the next Dumbledore.
The
I wouldn't be
Lancelot
opposed to
actor.
that.
Are you talking about Jack Davenport?
What?
Are you talking about Jack Davenport?
Maybe, I don't know. Bring up his picture or something.
I need to look at this.
And by the way, sorry everybody, it's so bright over here. Just so happens that when we do the show, the sun is right there in my window. And I can literally put my hand out and feel the heat from it. It fucking sucks. Because it's not that warm outside. But that thing's heating up my apartment like a motherfucker. Alright.
I mean, maybe.
No, if you saw how he looked in... Oh.
He's a little old, though.
So is Alan Rickman.
I know, but as you were saying earlier, if we're going for like younger, then he's maybe not the best choice.
Yeah, there's ways to de-age with makeup. His voice was right. That's what I really liked about it, honestly.
There's ways to de-age with CGI, and they're
No,
getting better.
I'm not talking about CGI. Fuck de-aging with CGI. There's ways to make him look younger with makeup. It's not just do makeup, don't CGI.
The CGI de-aging, it's not there. It's just
No,
not
it's
there.
not.
It's close.
It's not quite
but
there. It's getting there.
Yeah.
Like, you can still see it. It's a far cry from Tron Legacy. God, that was awful.
Yeah.
Or just using CGI to bring back dead actors.
Yeah.
Like they did in Rogue One. Which, oof.
Oh, who was it that just died recently too? There's somebody else.
Does not remember.
Yeah, I don't want to I know. Yeah, Royal Jones died recently too. And he gave away the rights to his voice to be used in perpetuity with AI. What do you guys think about it? Do you have anything to say?
No, I was just thinking, it's like, I wonder how many actors are like presenters will actually willingly choose that. And the one that immediately came to mind is like, I wonder if David Attenborough will do that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know for Royal Jones, he's just like, I just want to be Darth Vader forever. Use my voice. So kind of a baller move.
Yeah, because there, like, also in Rogue One, like when he, it was him doing the voice, but you could tell that he was significantly older.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just not quite the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, other people have tried to do Darth Vader besides James, and it's just not the same.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it was his choice, I don't mind it.
Yeah. Well, it's like if he was of sound mind and body when he said that. Like if somebody were to ask Bruce Willis, "Can we use your likeness with AI in perpetuity?" I would be like, "No," because he has dementia right now. So like, no, don't do that.
That poor fucking guy.
Dementia's a bitch.
Yep.
His family too. It's they're gonna be going through it, and I do not envy them.
Oh yeah, I had to say goodbye to my grandma 7 years before she died, and yeah, it was the last time she recognized me. And then at her funeral, I had to see everybody else catch up with her being gone, and that was hard on me too. Like,
Yeah. Mine's steadily getting worse, but she still knows me. So I'm making the most of it.
What the fuck?
that's good.
What are you bitching about, Rimshi?
Something decided to start playing real quick on my computer, so I had to put a kibosh on that real fucking fast.
Destroy!
Oh, have you guys seen that shit about YouTube having ads when you pause?
Yep, that's something they're rolling out. You and I won't see it.
Yeah.
My wife won't see it because I upgraded to a family plan.
Nice.
Yeah,
I just hear about people complaining about ads from afar. Cause
basically what YouTube's trying to do is really push for you to pay for YouTube Premium, which the only two reasons I even originally got YouTube Premium when it was YouTube Red were I could download my videos so that I could listen to them while I'm at work in areas that don't have cell service, because I was actually at a job that had that issue. And
you could watch Cobra Kai.
Well, actually, that was not the reason. I got it before Cobra Kai. That was a later benefit. The other reason was I could turn off my fucking screen and still listen to the video, so it could be in my pocket while I'm listening.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my whole thing, was being able to download videos, because I don't get good cell service in the building I work in.
No ads? That's nice. It's turned out to be a nice little benefit, but it was not my reason.
From what I'm hearing from everybody else, the ads are... Actually, no. Scratch that. Not from what I'm hearing from everybody else. Whenever I see somebody else pull up YouTube videos and I start to see how many ads there are, I'm like, no. All right, let's pull this up on my account.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ads.
They've also gotten...
It would be ads. Ads would be another reason at this point, but they were never one when I originally got it.
They've also gotten far more...
Well, ad blockers don't necessarily work anymore with YouTube.
I was going to say, they've gotten far more aggressive about that.
No.
Where like
Yeah,
if YouTube detects that you have an ad blocker, it's like you get like one video before they fucking shut you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically gonna kill YouTube. It's a mistake. Yeah, and we're on YouTube right now as well as Twitch, although no one's watching us on either.
So the problem,
YouTube's
the problem that I
gonna
have,
die.
the problem that I have with the pause ads is that they're playing a video ad. If it was just like a panel ad when you paused, totally fine with
Yeah,
that.
just like a banner.
Yeah.
It could be a moving banner, just don't have fucking sound.
Yeah, because you paused for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just,
According to Google, they still don't make any money off of YouTube, but Google lies about everything, so I don't trust them.
Even if you don't make money off of YouTube, at this point, you're part of the reason for that is all the ads you're putting into every goddamn thing are driving people away from you, and two, you're curating everything to the point where you're driving people away from you. Like,
Well,
I
as we
don't get to
know-
I don't get to watch this content on YouTube anymore because they've said this is not allowed. Therefore, I have to do this. I have to go to this site. Why the fuck am I even bothering with YouTube anymore?
by the way,
As we know-
speaking of ads,
Go ahead, Jables.
I heard a little stream hack for Twitch, because you know how whenever we open up Twitch for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just gonna give myself more money. I'm not gonna pay Twitch to not see ads for content that I'm making. To avoid the pre-roll ads, we should do like 3 minutes of ads every hour, which we're not gonna do. But if we do that consistently, it stops the pre-roll ads, so people are more willing to pop in. All I'm saying.
I mean, if we actually had... Hey, Kimmy Parsons showed up. If we
Hey, Kimmy.
actually had people showing up, I might consider putting in like 3 minutes of ads every hour. Just be like, hey, it's time for ads. Let's just deal with this shit.
Yeah, just put the show on pause, take a piss break, grab a
Yeah.
drink,
Yep.
and then
Everyone, just
resume
let this
after
play
the
while
ads.
we go deal with our shit, and you deal with your shit.
As I was
Call it
saying,
good.
though, as we all know, Google lost that antitrust lawsuit.
Yeah.
So that's like any company that's anti-competition is also anti-consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Deere
Well, they got
is a
rid of
prime
the do
example
no
of that.
evil about like 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, like, don't be evil and be good sound like the same statement if you don't think about it. But
Yeah.
you can do evil if you think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of the that's kind of like the major plot point of my favorite episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Which one?
In the Pale Moonlight. Where
Yeah, I know exactly which one you were talking about.
which I can talk about now because everybody here has seen it. If you haven't seen in the chat, that's your problem.
Yeah, if you're in
Yeah.
the audience, plug your ears for a minute.
Cisco covers up the fact that Garrick assassinates a Romulan senator.
Okay.
Because the way he did it would implicate the Dominion as the ones who killed him. And Sisko needs the Romulans to join the war effort in order to save more lives and increase their chances of actually winning. So he covers it up.
Sacrifice one life to save many. That's basically
Millions,
what's going on
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do an evil thing in the name of good.
Yeah, I was leaning more towards Magneto's full arc from the X-Men. Like,
Yeah.
Magneto's doing fucked up shit, but it's for the betterment. You know.
Well, it's.
By the way, for anybody that
potential
doesn't know,
betterment
Magneto's
of
a
mutants.
representation of Malcolm X. Anyways. Sorry, what were you saying?
Also a Holocaust survivor. That's a big part of his character background and motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, in any
If,
group
like-
like that, you get two types of people. The ones who go the Magneto route, and then there's the ones who go the route of don't let this happen again, let me spread awareness.
I mean, like, you understand Magneto because, like, given his history, it's like I literally know what happens when you start putting restrictions on a certain class of people. I've seen how that plays out.
I've been there.
It's like
I've
I lost
literally
my entire
been there.
family because of that.
Well, that's why that whole scene in the first X-Men movie is so heartbreaking, because he's being separated from his mother, and that's when his powers emerge, and he starts pulling the fences, and it's like,
And it takes a rifle butt to knock him out to stop it.
yeah, and there were 5 or 6 men trying to pull him away, but he was pulling himself towards the fences and pulling the fences towards him at the same time, and it was keeping him in place. It was weird. There's a reason why they reused the scene in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
It's a powerful scene. You don't recreate that very easily.
And it's also why I don't like to call Magneto a villain. Because
He's an antagonist. He's not a villain.
Yeah, I understand his motivations. That's what makes
he
him so
has
great
villainous
as an antagonist.
tendencies, but he's absolutely an antagonist.
Yeah,
Not a villain. Villains can be antagonists. Antagonists can be villains. In fact,
it's rectangles and squares.
well, not all. I was about to say that, but not all villains are the antagonist.
Well, that's like, despite their differences, that's why, Magneto and Charles remain friends, despite being on opposite sides.
Yeah, they're just constantly trying to convince each other, like, my way's better. And it's
not so much like my way's better, is that, like, for Magneto, when he's, like, looking at Charles' point of view, he's like, I really wish that I could see your vision, Charles, but I know that I can't be that optimistic.
yeah.
They are never going to accept us.
Yeah, and the opposite exists.
Yeah,
Charles is like, I can't be that pessimistic. I still have hope.
Oh, I'm absolutely the villain, Cats. I'm the villain.
Oh, hey, Cats.
And kind of like later,
Rimshi, you're not the fucking villain.
where Magneto starts to become a bit more, darker, a bit more villainous is later in his life, when he starts to view mutants as, like, basically entirely separate from humanity.
Yeah,
and
when he starts
superior.
to go like all Aryan race with the mutants, that's where it starts to get wonky.
Whereas, like, Charles always maintains, it's like, yes, we have these gifts, we have these abilities, but fundamentally at our core, we are still human. We are all human.
Yeah, for Charles, it's like, yeah, some of us are like Usain Bolt. We're just a little better, but we're better at this, but we're not better than the rest of humanity.
We're better
But,
in this way, not in who we are.
In the case of, like, mutants like Magneto, who is an Omega level mutant, like, a lot, like, Magneto, it's not magnetism. He can control
that's just a fun name.
all. He can control all metallic elements. All of them.
I recently heard about the issue where he tears all the adamantium out of Wolverine's body.
Yeah.
And I read that comic, and that comic is fucking nuts.
Well, I mean,
but
if you're gonna do it to anyone, do it to the guy who can survive.
He is that powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, though, could he do that to the iron in the blood of an average human? Or does it
yeah,
take
they
a
showed that
sufficient...
in X2. And this is just movie, which kind of minimizes his powers, honestly.
Well, in X2, he had
they inject extra iron into his blood, but
yeah, Mystique did. But that was enough for him to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is that the average person with the average amount of iron in their blood, or even a healthy large dose of iron in their blood that is not iron being directly injected, can he pull the iron out of their blood, or does it have to be a sufficient quantity and concentration, like the adamantium in Wolverine's skeleton?
No, he could absolutely do it. It's just that the reason why he needed Mystique to inject that guy with more is so he would have enough iron to be able to escape with.
Yeah. Yeah, he can do it.
Because, like, the standard amount of iron in that guy's blood would have been so minuscule he wouldn't have been able to shatter, like, the containment with it.
Yeah, he couldn't have done anything with it. That's why when that guard walks in, the line that he says is, "Am I mistaken, or do I detect a high amount of iron in your blood?"
He specifically says too much iron in your
blood. Yeah, too much iron in your blood. Yeah. Yeah, and then he kills a dude.
Even in X3, after he was given that injection, it was revealed at the very end of the movie that even after that, he was so powerful that he still had a very minute amount of control over metal.
Yeah. But again, that's the movies. And yeah, they do undersell him a little bit.
Well, the thing is, like, Scarlet
Well,
Witch...
in the comics, he's way more powerful. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, no, I know he's exceedingly powerful in the comics, but, like, I don't know, it just seems like, why wouldn't he be pulling the iron out of anyone's blood that resists him? Obviously, non-mutants, because he's a mutant supremacist by the end.
The amount of iron that's in your blood regularly is so minuscule. It's not.
Yeah, but if you pull a person, all the iron out of a person's bloodstream, they suddenly have no red blood cells in order to carry oxygen, and they'll suffocate within 10 minutes.
I don't. Magneto's not a bad guy. He just has different views on like how to solve the segregation issue between mutants and humans.
Depending on
he's not a terrible person.
Like, depending on versions, he either wants, like, full separation between mutants and humans, or that mutants should be in charge of humanity going forward, or he's straight up genocidal.
Yeah.
It really depends on the version that you're working with.
It just strikes me as weird that he throws cars at people instead of pulling the iron out of their bodies.
The amount of iron that's in your body is so minuscule.
Like, but I just made I just pointed out how effective it would be.
If you were to remove all of the iron, like all the mineral iron from somebody, that means that your hemoglobin is gone. Your red blood cells can't transport oxygen anymore, and that's a death sentence.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, comic book writers aren't biologists. My bad.
But they say, like, most versions of Magneto aren't that sadistic.
Yeah, but also it's a lot more visually appealing to see someone throw a car at you or at their opponent as opposed to, although if you did it right, it would be absolutely fucking incredible to just see him go, all this iron, I'm just pulling it out of your blood, and you're dead. You're not dead right away. You'd pass out within... Actually, you'd pass out pretty fucking quick.
But, as Jay was saying, like, in the comics, like, he's been shown to be pretty absurd. And then, like, you have one of his children, the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
Who, in the comics, she is beyond Omega level. Like, what we see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a very, very much nerfed version.
Yeah, the Scarlet Witch is insane.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch in the comics can straight up manipulate reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is busted.
Yeah, you think Doctor Strange is really cool for in the cinematic universe, creating that one timeline where he just tries things a million fucking times over and over again. Scarlet Witch is just like, no, people don't exist anymore.
Like, Doctor Strange in the movies is also kind of nerfed. He is absurdly powerful in the comics.
Have a good night, cats. Thanks for stopping by.
I mean, yeah, the like, sometimes it depends on the character. They either nerf the fuck out of the character or they overindulge the character. It depends on the story they're trying to tell, and it depends on the character they're using.
Yeah. I think in...
Yes, in the comics, Scarlet Witch is Magneto's daughter.
So, and Quicksilver is his son.
In the movies... Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's ambiguous, but technically they don't have the rights to X-Men, so... no.
Well... I think it's...
No, they have the rights to X-Men because Disney owns Fox now.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
They have all the rights.
But initially, when they introduced them, they didn't. So it was Wonders of Science or something like that.
Yeah, because the Fox version of Quicksilver is confirmed to be Magneto's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when he broke Magneto out of the Pentagon. By the way, which is directly in the center where that fucking Taco Bell is.
And Taco Bell's talking about bringing back some like old menu items in the near future.
I did see an article about that, but I didn't want to bring it up. But yeah, when
I hope they bring
Quicksilver
back the Mexamelt. That would be awesome.
when
Never got to
Quicksilver
try.
was breaking Magneto out of there in X-Men First. No, wait, it was Days of Future Past.
Yeah, Days of Future Past.
He was like, "Oh, so you can manipulate metal?" He was like, "Yeah." Oh, my mom knew a guy that could do that back in the day. and then they just carried on. They didn't do it. No more conversation about it. They just moved on.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
I like the hinting at it.
The Quicksilver scene where he's getting everybody out of the Xavier estate
Yeah.
is a pretty cool sequence. It's just
yeah, for sure.
oh fuck, here I go saving people again.
Yeah. Yeah, that Quicksilver was an example of a good guy that just does bad things because he can. Like, he was just constantly stealing shit, because why not? I'm fast as fuck.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Boy!
Yeah, but overall, still a good guy.
He's just a klepto, because who's gonna catch him?
He's bored. Do you know how slow time moves for him? With how fast he can go?
Yeah.
His
It's kinda
perspective
like
on
the
time is
Flash.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Flash, where he can perceive picoseconds.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Flash has literally more than once run so fast that he's gone back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's broken
Speed
dimensional
forward,
barriers
bitch.
if you want to go with the show.
The Flash was also able to beat Superman in a race, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like a lot of people who aren't familiar with like older comic characters now, it's just like, you don't understand, like, you don't want to fight the Flash. You really, really don't.
No. Well, there's that clip that constantly goes around.
Yes, Dina, Nightcrawler is
Um,
Mystique's son.
Is he?
Yeah,
Depends on the version. Like,
I thought
at
yeah,
least...
sometimes it is, sometimes
More
it's
recent change.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it depends on the version. It doesn't matter how far back you go, how consistent a character's been. You will find a different version of them that has something different. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nightcrawler, that's Mystique's son. It's not Mystique's son. It is Mystique's son, but it's also not.
Well, like, my thing with Nightcrawler, what I don't like with like recent stuff is that like they kind of like shy away from the religious aspect, but it's like that's a big part of who Kurt is as a person, though, is his Catholicism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It informs a lot of his choices.
It's
Well,
German
I mean-
Orthodox Catholicism, to be more specific.
Yes.
I mean, the biggest thing I'll say is, yeah, he's he's Catholic, but they're not gonna deal with that because they don't want to deal with Catholic anymore. They don't want to bring up shit that might get them canceled in the modern audiences.
They touched it. They touched on it in X2.
Well,
which I
that's part
really
of the
appreciated.
reason why Rings of power right now fundamentally doesn't work is because, Tolkien was a devout Catholic. There's a lot of religious overtones and symbolism throughout Lord of the Rings. And if you're not willing to adapt that shit, then you shouldn't be here. Go away.
Yeah. Yes, DNS Storm was worshipped as a goddess in her home. Because Halle Berry is a goddess.
Yeah. That's purely because it's Halle Berry. How else do you expect that to work? Because she can control the weather? That's a dime a dozen. Have you ever heard of the Witch Doctor?
Yeah. Alright. Let's move on to some of this stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
What we hitting up first?
Oh, just as like a topic point. Kurt Cobain's daughter recently had a kid with Tony Hawk's son. Talk about potentially the coolest kid ever. That's
just keep him away from shotguns.
Yeah, keep him away from shotguns and heroin, and he'll be awesome.
Playing guitar while doing some of the craziest skateboard tricks.
Dude, I've been watching some of these up-and-coming skaters. Well, I showed you guys one guy a couple weeks ago.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah,
that
was cool.
There are people doing more insane shit than that. Like, it's...
I mean, like, there are multiple things that are kind of seeing a renaissance as of late.
Yeah. No, a lot of the up-and-coming skaters right now, they've played the video games, and they're just thinking... Like, they're doing, like, ridiculous trick combos in the video game, and they're like,
what if I could
figure out
actually
how to do that?
Shit?
Yeah, and they're doing it. I just saw the other day a guy do a backflip into a rock to fakie and then drop back into the fucking quarter pipe. It was
I wish I knew what you were talking
insane.
about.
Okay, so he did a backflip, and he landed his board so the tail of the board and the trucks were on the rim of the quarter pipe. And then he just dropped back in.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. Yeah, no, skateboarding is gonna get really, like, it's already pretty interesting, but it's gonna get really interesting within the next few years.
That's cool.
I swear, we're gonna have to turn that, like, Easter egg from Halo 3 into a running meme when it comes to stuff like this.
What Easter
Which
egg?
one?
So in Halo 3, there's this multiplayer map called Sand Trap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's this great big vehicle that was originally exclusive to that map, but has been added to a couple others through Forge in later years, called the Elephant.
Yeah.
It's the biggest drivable vehicle in the game. So normally you can't flip it over. Like, you have to go through an extreme amount of effort or, like, carefully put a bunch of explosives together to actually knock it over. Now, Spartans are really strong. So, like, if your Warthog rolls over, even if your tank rolls over, it's just like, okay, just hold this button to flip it over and be back on your way. If you roll an elephant over, though, when you walk up to it and the button prompt comes up, instead of saying, like, to flip vehicle or whatever, it says, like, press button to wait. What? How did you do that?
I remember that Easter egg, yeah.
I've never seen that. But yeah, a lot of these things are like in the early 1900s, nobody thought you could run a 6-minute mile. And then one guy did it. And then everybody started doing it. It just takes one person to show you that it's possible for you to start pushing those boundaries.
Yeah, one of the biggest and consistent ones for this is Jables would know, video game speedrunning.
Yes.
Like, people think that a game is done, you can't really do anything else, and then some random motherfucker finds some bug or glitch or trick that no one ever thought of before. And it's like, and new possibilities have opened up. Let's go.
And now everybody's getting a new fucking fastest speed constantly, like every other day. By the way, I still have a vendetta against that fucking reporter that shit on that kid that beat Tetris.
Fuck you, bitch!
Yeah, no, you're a fucking cunt.
Remember the kid who beat Tetris? I will never give a fuck about or remember the journalist who shit on him.
Yeah, I don't even know her name, but I still want to say fuck you.
I didn't know her
this
gender
kid be outside
until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, that. All right, for those of you that don't know, the first person to ever beat Tetris was what, like 11 or 12?
And I think he was 13.
All right.
But by
let's call him 13.
We mean literally cause the game to crash.
And not like the game couldn't generate any more blocks. That type of crash. Not he broke the game in some sort of way. It was
the way
he went so far that the game could not generate any more blocks.
No, it could still generate blocks after that. What happened was that they figured out, because like the code becomes increasingly more unstable the longer it goes on, because it was never meant to run that long. And that's why you get all the weird colors and shit. And they figured out by like looking at the code that if you were to like do a specific action, like clear one line on this specific level at this specific time, it'll cause the game to shut down. Like, it'll cause it to crash and lock up.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He specifically entered that command at the right time, and the game's code couldn't handle it anymore, and the game bricked.
Yeah. And a couple of things. One, he's like 13. 2.
So that's badass.
His dad just died, so he's kind of sad. 3.
I think his dad had died like 2 months prior to that.
Yeah. I think that's enough for dad just died. I think 2 months is close enough.
He dedicated that stream to his father.
Yep. And 3, it was during winter. 4, he was on the East Coast. It's cold as fuck outside. You dumb bitch. Let the kid have his win instead of questioning his mother's parenting techniques.
Well, it's just like
his dad just fucking died, you cunt.
Even if it wasn't cold, it's like, let's just say like he managed to do it while like it was raining outside. Would that change your perspective, bitch?
Yeah. It irritates the fuck out of me how many people still view video games as just like a child thing, and you need to go outside and play and stuff.
Well, it's mostly
like, I'm a big proponent of like children going outside to play, and all those things. But video games are so much more than just, oh, you're just sitting aside looking at a TV. What the fuck are you doing, bitch? You're watching fucking soap operas and sitcoms.
Yep.
Like, it's...
I was going to say, it's like, he's going to be remembered long after you because local news anchors are a dime a dozen, bitch.
Yeah. And what do you do in your spare time? Do you watch The Big Bang Theory or something?
Ugh. Fake geek. God. Ugh.
You know she does. You know she does. Based on that fucking ignorant fucking comment that she made.
I
Yeah,
can't.
honestly,
I can't.
well, it's part of the reason it's still so common to hear people talk about video games as children's things is, especially with, like, our generation, growing up with video games still being the Nintendo console, and the PlayStation was just starting to come out, and then Microsoft Xbox and all that stuff. Most of the games were targeted at kids. You didn't have as many mature games. And even the mature games were like, well, it's mature, but it's targeted towards teens, not... Nowadays, you've got shit like Space Marine, Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 1 came out back in the day, and that was an
push back on you
outlier.
on that. I'm gonna push back on you on that. Halo 1. Halo Combat Evolved. Fucking excellent game.
Oh, I'm not saying they weren't excellent games. I am not saying that. I am a gamer. I'm just saying, from the perspective of a lot of people from my generation, they still see it as a kid's hobby because it was still targeted at kids.
I mean, like,
yeah, these are the same. These are the same
even by the
fucking
mid-90s,
idiots
though.
that think South Park is a kids show.
Even by the mid-90s,
exactly.
though, we had very clearly started to move away from that. Like, a lot of people forget now because of all the remakes and stuff, but the original Resident Evil came out in 1996.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were outliers back then that started
And
it.
even
The
before that, on Nintendo systems, you had, like, heavy, like, action element games with, like, horror elements, you know, like fucking Castlevania, Metroid.
Yes, but who were they targeted at? They were still targeted at kids. Teens
I
at
don't think
most.
they were targeted at kids.
No,
I
they
think were
weren't,
just
actually.
advertised.
I'm talking about the advertising.
Because another thing that we have to keep in mind is that, you know, when video games were still kind of in their infancy, they were very much a luxury sort of product.
Yeah.
You know, like, I didn't really have, like, consoles as a kid. My parents did.
Yeah.
My grandparents and my aunts and uncles, like, they had their consoles that they bought with their money.
Yeah, I remember being a kid and seeing my dad play Super Mario 64 in his bedroom.
Like, my dad
And
bought his Nintendo 64 expressly for one purpose, so that he could play Ocarina of Time.
yeah. Yeah, no, I saw my dad playing the N64. And I popped in. I popped into his bedroom because I don't know, I wanted to hang out with my dad. Whatever. And
My dad had computer games. He had a
I saw-
joystick.
I saw him playing Super Mario 64. And he was like, "No, you can't play. I'm borrowing this from a buddy from work." Turns out he actually bought it. He just wanted to play it for a while before he let the kids play it.
Yeah, well, but keep in
Which
mind,
is
we
fair.
aren't exactly... we're all gamers at this point. A lot of people who didn't grow up with... Like, I didn't have anyone like that where they were gamers to start with, I was the first full-on gamer in my family that I know of. Maybe you could make the statement that my uncle, he had an old NES. You can make the argument that maybe he was a bit of a gamer, but even he wasn't a gamer. It was, like you said, a luxury item.
The first time I played Doom was on a Panasonic. Oh, I forget what the name of it is.
A
It
handheld?
was a No, Panasonic, the company, made a game system that
I know.
ran Doom.
Yeah, but
But it wasn't. It wasn't a handheld.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure I remember. I remember my orthodontist had Game Boys with some games, and they had this. You know what? Maybe it was a Sega.
The only
handheld.
the only handhelds back then were the Sega Game Gear.
Yeah, I think
and
it was the Sega Game Gear and the Game Boy Advanced.
Well, the original Game Boy was it was a big brick, and it only had black and white graphics.
Technically, it didn't even have black and white. It had green and black.
Yeah.
Well, like monochrome, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monochrome, absolutely.
And like you had the Game Gear, which was a more advanced system by far than the Game Boy was, but
Yeah, but it took 1,000 batteries for one day of play.
yeah, its power requirements were absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It also never got the game library that the Game Boy did.
No.
Yeah.
But the whole reason the Game Boy got the game library it did was because it was the more adopted version.
But another thing that really helped Game Boy pull away is that when the Game Boy Color came out, they're like, hey, all of your original Game Boy cartridges, you can still use them with this new one.
Yeah.
You can just get new color games too.
Yeah.
Yep. Same with
That
the
was
Game
the
Boy
big-
Advance.
Yeah, the Game Boy
Reverse
Advance is like,
compatibility.
hey, we got a brand new little handheld for you, brand new games. But if you've got Game Boy Color games, you can still play them on this.
If
Oh,
you've
you
got
could even
Game
play
Boy
original
games,
Game Boy
you can
games
still
on that.
play them.
Yeah. And then Game Boy Advance SP. Hey, we got a blacklight. We got a backlight for you.
And a rechargeable
Now you can play at
battery.
night.
And
Yeah.
you
No
can
more
fold it
searching
in
for
half.
double A's.
You can fold the Game Boy Advanced SP in half so it can be even smaller and travel worthy.
Yep.
I had a Game Boy Advance. I had a Game Boy Micro. That thing
Oh, you're the
was
one.
itty.
You're the one guy that bought that.
I didn't buy it; it was bought for me.
Yeah, still.
But like, it was pretty cool. Like, it was basically just a Game Boy Advance SP that was more portable and had interchangeable faceplates.
Yeah. It wasn't that
Yeah.
special, but it was kind of cool.
It wasn't until the DS came out. It's like, yeah, you can still play Game Boy Advance games, but we're dropping compatibility for color and stuff.
Oh yeah, and then when they came out with the 3DS, I was like, oh, come on. Like, Nintendo was kind of notorious for its backwards compatibility.
I wouldn't say notorious. Notorious is it has
for,
negative
for its handheld systems, at least.
but it's got a negative connotation. They were famous.
Okay.
Yeah, they were famous for their backwards compatibility. And then once they started dropping that, where's Nintendo now?
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, Nintendo's in a pretty good place, but
Now that they've come back some with the Switch, and the Switch is actually what really brought them back. Because
Yeah, because the Wii U fucking tanked.
yeah, the Wii was decent, but it still wasn't like the best thing ever. The Wii U
problem
tanked
with the
because
Wii
no one
U-
could tell the difference between the Wii and the Wii U.
exactly. The reason why the Wii U failed was marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo did not market that thing properly.
Yeah,
It-
it looked like
The way they marketed it, it sounded like an attachment, not another system.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
But no, like the
Eh.
Switch, like that thing just prints money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I've still got an original Switch. Not original. I didn't buy it when it first came out. It was like a year or two later. But we bought it because, I don't know, I wanted one and I wanted to play some games. And it was just after, well, we had been planning it, and then COVID happened, and we're like, why don't we just do it now?
Yeah.
And like
I legitimately play my Switch almost every day.
it's like the Switch, is it as powerful as some of its competitors? No. If anything, it's kind of outdated technology-wise.
It wasn't even. It was relatively
was
outdated when it first came out.
Yeah, it was not
The
even
thing
up
with
to
the
snuff
Switch, though,
then.
the thing with the Switch, though, is that it's incredibly convenient. Being able to take it with you or play it on television is a very appealing option.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I'll sometimes bring
The
mine to
fact
work.
that
I'm
in
gonna play it
addition
at
to
work.
having a bunch of
Play it on
strong first-party entries, like new first-party entries, Nintendo is continuously increasing the game's library by adding classics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and on top of that, if you've got the
You
got
look at
the
the
annual
library of
online,
games that you can play between Switch,
Nin-
Xbox, and PlayStation. Switch buries the other two.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like you take the Switch, and if you're paying for online, you automatically get access to their entire what they've updated, what they've uploaded, but their entire library for NES, Super NES, 64.
Hold on,
GameCube.
not their entire library.
But it's not the entire game library, but everything that they've brought forward, everything that they can, because
yeah.
they're constantly updating that too. Like,
yeah, like
every couple
Dina
of
and I
months
are
you get a new
currently
game
playing.
added.
Dina and I are currently playing through the first Donkey Kong Country together.
Like the Switch is only becoming more of a value with each update to the library that Nintendo does. You're just getting more for what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it worth it to upgrade the system itself when they release a new version. For example, the OLED version of the Switch, it's worth it makes it almost worth upgrading to that. Oh, you want to get a version that you only want to take around as a handheld? They have a version for that.
Yeah, the Switch Lite. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never take my Switch around as a handheld though, so I could never justify getting the OLED.
And that's fair. That's why I said almost.
But when the next console comes out, if it's like a Switch 2, if I can transfer all of the data over to that like I do when I get a new phone.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be
I'm at the front door.
Yeah. That's going to be sold in seconds. That won't even take that long to sell. It's backwards compatibility is a much larger selling point than people realize. Most game companies don't realize that anymore. Backwards compatibility sells your new consoles. Why? Because starting out, you're not going to have a huge library of console-specific games. It's just not going to happen.
It's the number one thing that people complain to Nintendo about. Is like,
why don't you? Why don't you?
Yeah, why don't you just release this? I'll buy it. Just do it. Just re-release it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I will.
I can't play
money!
this. I can't play this old game without pirating it unless you guys release it. I'll pay for it. I don't give a fuck. Please, just give me a functioning working of this game.
And then, if you want a complete opposite, almost, have you guys seen what is happening with Sony?
I didn't watch the state of play.
No, just like the prices for the PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
It's like, have you?
Yeah,
lost
$700 for
your
a
goddamn
piece of.
minds? It's like $800, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not the most expensive console they've ever released. By a technicality.
Adjusting for inflation.
but it's the most expensive that they've had 0 perks on. That's
Yeah, it's like less expensive, but comparing adjusting for inflation, it's less expensive by the than the PlayStation 3 by something like $23. But the PlayStation 3 also had a Blu-ray player in it.
yeah.
And the
The
original models
PlayStation
had backwards
Pro?
compatibility.
Yeah, the PlayStation Pro, PlayStation 5 Pro? I don't even know anymore. But it doesn't even have an included disc drive. It doesn't have, they don't even include the vertical stand with it. You have to pay another $30 for that piece of plastic.
Do you know why the PlayStation 2 was so successful?
Backwards compatibility and its price.
It was also a DVD player.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why the PlayStation
it was about the
3,
same.
despite
It
its
was about
price,
the
was
same
as
price
successful.
It was about the same price as just buying a DVD player.
Specifically,
but
though,
you can also play games on it.
here's the thing: is that like you could play DVDs on the Xbox, for example. It did have that functionality, but it required a accessory remote in order to do it. With the PlayStation, you could just use the controller.
Oh no, that was Oh no, you're right. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
For the original Xbox, yeah. The Xbox
Yeah.
360, you could do it with the controller.
Yeah, they
Well,
corrected it with the Xbox 360.
Well, Xbox 360 did HD DVDs, but then PS3 went hard and like, fuck you, motherfuckers! I'm gonna come in your face. We do Blu-ray, and
Yeah,
Blu-ray won the
that
content
didn't
wars
help.
on that.
Well,
And
it didn't help the
360
PlayStation
eventually
3, though.
capitulated.
I'm just saying that like it didn't help the PlayStation 3. The Xbox 360 absolutely outsold the PlayStation 3. It had the much better game library.
Yeah.
360
better
Yeah, I'm not
game.
saying it
At
didn't.
least at
I'm just
first.
saying that
At
Blu-ray
first,
won
it
the.
did.
Also,
yeah, Blu-ray
Xbox Live.
won the format war.
Yeah.
But 360 basically won that console war generation. And a huge factor to that was the advance it had in players given it. Didn't it come out a year earlier or something like that?
But
Here's
here's the other thing.
And then despite the Red Rings of Death, Microsoft putting out the console that much sooner and then actually owning up and taking care of the Red Rings of Death because they knew that was going to come, gave them the advantage to get.
It's very simple.
Well, also Rimshi, one thing you have to consider is Xbox demanded that you pay for their online service. PlayStation didn't, and that's why I have more black friends than you.
Well, I was gonna say it's like the simple reason.
Sorry, that was
Racist
My
bastard.
bad, everybody.
The simple reason why the Xbox 360 had such a huge advantage over the PlayStation 3 out of the gate was Xbox Live.
Yeah.
It was just a much more advanced, much further along online game system than PlayStation Network. And as I said, Xbox 360 ended up having the better game library too.
Yeah, and that's why you guys don't have black friends. I get it. I mean, you're trying to hide behind.
But
all
like
this other
part of the
shit.
reason it actually was able to pull all this stuff off is because they knew that they released early, knowing they were going to have the Red Ring of Death issue. It was an issue that they were trying to figure out, but they released it early. They honored a lot of the issues that resulted from Red Ring of Death once they figured out what the hell was going on with it.
Well, the other thing was that Halo 3 had a set release date at that point, and that was going to be the launch title for the console.
That was exactly. That was the big deal there.
Like Halo 3 was ready. The console wasn't entirely ready, but the game was, and it's just like, we can't miss that release window.
Yeah, it came down to, we're more willing to take a hit on having to repair all these consoles than we are in having to take a hit because we have to wait. We can release this game beforehand and then not actually have the console for it. Like, that's gonna fuck us completely.
Which, again, it worked out because Halo 3 ended up, at the time, being the biggest first-day launch of a media property in history. That game made gangbusters.
It's a good game.
It's a great fucking game. I love Halo.
No one here would argue with you on that.
Yeah.
Halo has been shit ever since Bungie left.
Yeah.
No,
that's
Sony's
true.
been the console.
And Bungie's been shit ever since Bungie left.
Yeah, Destiny's not great.
Destiny's fine, but it's not what it could have been, and it's been through
Destiny
such
took a
issues.
long time to get to being fine, Rimshi. That's the problem.
Yeah, Destiny 1 was okay on release, but hey, Scup, it was okay on release, but the biggest issue it had was that it didn't feel like you actually had an effect on the world.
I'll admit, I got bored with the demo.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Also, it has that fucking gnome Peter Dinklage in it.
Oh,
they got rid of him. And when they got rid of him,
fucking hate
shit.
Peter Dinklage.
Well,
for all my little people out there, I understand that Peter Dinklage is pulling up the ladder behind him, and you need to not stand up for that. What you need to do is you need to.
Yeah, calm
Sorry,
down.
I almost broke a law by doing a call to action.
Yeah, calm yourself down.
Sorry, I have some friends that are little people, and they can't get jobs because Peter Dinklage keeps telling people that it's insensitive to hire dwarves for this thing. And dude fucking did the thing. Quit pulling up the ladder behind you, you dumb fucking idiot. Why do you want everybody else to suffer? Because you have success. You're a fucking millionaire now, you fucking dumb. Yeah, words I can't say on Twitch. Blah, 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 blah.
Gnome.
Rabble.
Although I will say, I have seen trailers for a movie that he's going to be in soon. But the only reason it looks interesting is because it has Josh Brolin and Brendan Fraser in it.
Yeah.
The reason why the live-action Snow White looks so shit is because Peter Dinklage said, "Oh, you shouldn't hire dwarfs to play dwarves."
That was part of the reason.
Honestly, Peter Dinklage probably got paid a fuck ton of money to do the Ghost in Destiny, and he put less than 0 effort into that shit.
Like, he's so fucking monotone delivering his lines. It's like, is this Stephen Hawking?
Stephen Hawking would have been an improvement.
Yeah, that would have had more personality, you're right.
There are 2 roles that I've seen him put any sort of effort into. That was his role in Elf and his role in Tiptoes.
Yeah, but I can see why he put effort into Elf. I mean, he got to full-on rage against people calling him a dwarf.
Yeah.
He got to let out all that rage he already has.
He was also quite good in the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones.
I wouldn't know.
That scene where,
I like
that scene where he slaps the piss out of Joffrey. That was great.
Yeah, I like the character. I wouldn't say he put effort into that.
No, he was definitely acting.
No, I think he's just an asshole, and he was just letting his inner asshole come out.
Sometimes that works for actors.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Robert De Niro.
Like,
oh boy.
Like, if I were to be in a movie or a show or something like that, and somebody asked me to play angry, I could do that fairly easily. I would end up saying a lot of slurs, so those would be cut, obviously. But yeah,
it's like, nah, they'd end up redubbing you with AI. It's like, oh,
yeah,
man. It's like, really like the emotion, love the intensity. We can't keep any of that dialogue, though. We're gonna have to ADR the shit out of this.
Yeah, here, let me give you an example. So, I don't know, let's role play it a little bit. I don't know, sir, pretend to be a flat earther or something like that.
You know, gravity doesn't exist. It's all buoyancy, man.
Did he mute himself?
Yeah. I can see what he's saying.
And I muted myself because I said a lot of slurs during that. But I hope my body expressed how I felt.
No, I had no idea.
Shut up, Rimji. Hey, Jables.
What?
While we're talking on the subject of slurs and stuff, I want to send you something that I thought of the other day.
What?
I sent it to you as a message.
That's great. I love that.
I thought it was pretty good.
Send that to the others too.
Rimshi already knows about it, but
Which one?
I'll go ahead and put it in live show real quick.
The Captain Planet one.
Oh. All you had to say was the Captain Planet one, And I knew.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
remembered. He remembered.
All right.
There you go, Scup. It's a live show.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. You guys want to give advice to somebody? Real quick before
Sure,
we get
we'll
out of
do
here?
some advice. What advice are we giving?
Yeah. We will find out. Oh.
Um,
see.
Well, we've got
Do you want to do legal action or theft?
let's do theft.
All right.
Are you talking about the taking leftovers?
Yep. All right, the taking leftovers is it's the one I'm thinking of.
Just in topics or news articles?
It's in news articles. It's the last word in the title is theft, correct?
Yeah.
Single mom
I'll
theft.
yeah, sir. I'll send you a link.
All right.
Make it easy for you.
All right. Welcome to our Dear Lesser Saints segment.
Yes. By the way, this is the last segment of the night. Be sure to tip your bartender. And listen to the advice that we have.
She found out a single mom working for her sandwich shop was taking bread that was going to be thrown away, so she tried to fire her for the theft. Okay. Let's see. My 27 female husbands of 3 years father. Okay, that was weirdly put together.
I
27-year-old
am 27 years old and female. Husband of 3 years, father. What? Yeah, that's like, I am your father's brother's sister's cousins, best friends, roommates. Jesus Christ.
Well,
yeah.
That's how we know the AI wasn't used on this.
My
Nice
father-in-law.
Anyway, 27-year-old female. My husband of 3 years father is an entrepreneur who, among his businesses in numerous industries, has several sandwich shops spread out throughout 2 states. Last year, my husband and his dad opened a new location, and he and I were put in charge of being the ultimate decision makers regarding day-to-day operations of that location. My husband is one with a MBA, but he has his hands full managing properties that his dad owns, so I've been the one who pays the most attention to details. While I trust the manager we hired, I sometimes go through the security camera footage of the store for extra assurance purposes. My husband never has the time to do so, but I can easily do so. Our shop is not open on Sundays, so inventory that we have has to be thrown out because it cannot be served on Monday. The other day I realized that on one Saturday night, an employee who regularly closed was throwing out meats but would shove bread into a bag and presumably take it home. Another employee saw this happen and never reported it. I ended up confronting the other employee first, who has been here longer. She admits it was true, but that she thought because it was peanuts compared to the bread and meat being thrown out that this was somebody just trying to feed themselves. I confronted the employee who did it, and she said she was sorry, but she was a single mom and that she thought it was going in the trash anyway. She also said that she wasn't making enough to not qualify for food stamps, but that it was still not enough with a growing child, and she often had to skip meals. I left that meeting angry that the employee didn't seem to understand she was essentially stealing. I called the manager and said that he should have made it clear that stealing was unacceptable and to fire her. He seemed dismayed and said that we should give her a warning and give her a chance to not do it again. But I was honestly done with it because we pay well for what she does, and she cannot say her issues entitled her to get away with this. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Yes.
1000%
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you're a cunt.
Yeah,
Shit,
you're total
throwing
fucking cunt.
away. Do you want it to go into the dumpster before she shoves it in her purse? Or do you just want her to not take anything?
That's my trash. Like, shut up, you dumb bitch.
Yeah,
Now, legally speaking, like, it depends on states, but I know in a lot of states there are laws regarding this. For example, like, when I worked food service at Circle K, like, if I was throwing out stuff from, like, the bakery case, like, even, like, the donuts and stuff, people would ask me, it's like, hey, if you're just going to be throwing those away, could I have them? It's like, no, I can't, because, one, it's against the law, and two, I would lose my job.
yeah. Yeah, like when I was working at Walmart in the dairy section, if there was like one broken egg in a carton, you dump the whole carton.
Well,
And
yeah, it's a liability thing for a lot
Yeah.
of places.
But
You-
like I asked my managers, I was like, "We're going to dump this whole carton. Can I sign a waiver and take these home?" And they're like, "Nope, can't do that." I'm like, and I'm just looking at all this food go to waste while I'm like broken, starving.
Yeah, but as I said, you know, like, especially with some items, like, you know, things that are like moist or like high protein or high fat, meat, eggs, dairy. Like, they absolutely cannot let you do that, because, you know, if they did allow you to take it home and you were to contract some sort of foodborne illness, then it's on them and they're liable.
Yeah, but I led with willing to sign a waiver. Like it's. But it was still no. They would have fired me if I took it home.
Well, and that's the other thing is, like, if that comes out, it's just like if you did get like food poisoning from those eggs, and it was found out that they let you sign a waiver in order to do that, it's like, oh, you let that guy poison himself. That wasn't very responsible of you, Walmart. It's
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't really
Well,
change.
no, because it would have been I was the one that proposed the waiver, so it would have been.
Yeah,
different.
but
Like I
it
said,
would have
it's
still.
still
It
ultimately
doesn't
on them.
matter. It doesn't matter. The fact that a waiver exists or not actually makes them look worse.
Yeah.
But in the case of bread, it's not nearly as like risky.
Yeah. I don't know. This, yes, you are the asshole. It's your employee. It's bread that's going to be thrown out. She's
Yeah.
taking it home.
Yeah, this is a
Probably using it
situation.
for sandwiches for her kid.
This is
You're
a
the fucking
situation where
asshole.
you're kind of in a shit you're in the shit either way. I mean, look at this first response. Be prepared for this to go public. Do you realize the headlines your restaurant is about to get? Local manager fires single mother for taking home unsellable bread which would otherwise be thrown out because she can't afford to feed her children on her pay. You're absolutely about to lose the rest of your staff as well. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a mass walkout. Hope your husband and father-in-law fire you for your cruelty and completely bad decision-making that's going to cause a whole lot of bad press and lost business. This person goes too far.
Yeah.
I don't
I will
agree.
say, in the bitch's own words at the end of her post, she's basically calling the employee a liar.
Yeah.
She doesn't say it in the same words, but with the attitude she's presented, she basically says, that bitch is lying. We pay her more than enough. She has no excuse.
We pay well for what she does.
Apparently not well. You may pay well for what she does. That may be a true statement. It's not how the public's gonna see it.
But also, it's
Yeah,
like,
and also you may pay her well for what she does, but she still has a child.
Yeah.
Also,
And she
There's the
has to
fact-
feed herself, and there's a lot of costs that go into that.
I was going to say, there are other factors that we don't know here. What state is this? What is the cost of living in that state? This matters, by the way.
Also, we pair her well for what she does.
Even though she qualifies for food stamps based on her current income.
In technicality, my work does pay me well for what I do. However, I am one of 2 people in the company that know how to do it.
The other one's the owner, right?
Well, he's a part owner, but yeah.
You have made yourself basically essential.
Oh yeah, no, they can't fire me. It's they suspended me earlier this year, and that was rough. But no.
Also, again, bringing up the point that I did, you also live in Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle ain't cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, my rent just went up last month.
Yeah, I get paid very well for what I do. But if you look at where I live, it's not enough.
Yeah. I get paid enough to live on my own, but a lot of that comes from me being grandfathered into a certain system. Not like I'm able to live by myself through sheer luck in just knowing people. Turns out I'm very charismatic.
You wouldn't know it by looking at them.
Yeah. Yeah, but you would know it by hanging out with me. Grimshy's hung out with me in person.
Yeah.
I'm a little sweetheart. Dude.
Yeah, he flips up his skirt and all the ladies come running.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Except Cigarette Girl, she goes for Pav.
Huh. Yeah. Anyways, I think we've had a pretty good show. Thank you, everybody that joined us. You've been a nice audience.
We had some very spirited discussion today.
Yeah. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Same
And,
fat channel.
Yep. Smooch bitches. Have a good one.
Let's do it.
Okay, well, bye.
Have a good night,
everybody.
everyone.